Thank you. This is Eric Nyetun, your host. Once again, we are in Agenda Kenya channel. So today we are going to look at matters corruption. Last time we left it hanging for the purpose of today. So corruption has been one of the biggest challenges we have in Kenya. Since 1963, when we attained our independence, each and every day Kenyans have been crying of corruption. Corruption have reached a level whereby it is going to be soon legalized. If we don't take care of it, then everybody in this country will be corrupt. So today, I want to welcome Mr. Sam to greet you people. Then we embark on our matter. Welcome.
Good afternoon, all of you, and thank you for having me on air. I'm glad to be in my home space, and also, Mr. Eric, thank you for having me here. And as far as we are concerned in Kenya, and I know since independence, there are mega scandals in Kenya which have not been resolved of corruption. And when you talk of corruption is actually me and me who participate as a way of acquiring what you want without meeting the criteria.
Okay, Mr. Sam.
Yes, sir.
So before we proceed, recently our president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, said that we are losing about 2 billion daily. So in a year, that is around 730 billion.
Yeah.
So President himself admitted that we are losing a lot of money to corruption.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me to think more about corruption. Where does the money of corruption goes? Who are the beneficiaries? And what are the main measures we should be put in place so that we will not be crying of corruption in the near future? So despite all that, personally, I still believe that we have a way out on the matter corruption. So to list some few maybe corruption scandals in Kenya, so that those people who don't know maybe the main scandals we've been having. So we had one of the corruption which are called Eurobond, which costed 215 billion. That is a lot of money. We had also Goldenberg, that is 100 billion. NYS1 and NYS2. NYS1 was 791 million. NYS2 was 9 billion. And then we had also others like NCPB, that was 1.9 billion. So we had also laptop Tendaro, among others. So each and every day, these cases of scandals, Kenyans are forgetting. After one scandal is done, another one comes in. And then we proceed. We sing corruption, corruption, corruption. So Sam, I would like you to briefly tell us on how corruption has affected the development in this country.
As to begin,
Mhm.
as you know, a common man,
Mhm.
live about politician or the government.
Mhm.
We all know that we are part of the government,
Mhm.
but as to begin,
Mhm.
the people or the body system which is supposed to be mandated on handling an issue to do with corruption
Mhm.
and anti-corruption.
Yes.
They are involved.
Mhm.
They are also part of the police. The police, they are also there.
Yes.
And beside that one,
Mhm.
whenever we are talking about a huge corruption
Mhm.
of a million,
Mhm.
Eurobond, Goldenberg, and
Scandals.
all scandals,
Mhm. Yes.
we need to begin to handle an issue to do with 50 shillings
Mhm.
that our police officers
Mhm.
normally took. And they are the one who supposed to prosecute
Mhm.
and give the best service so that they can set an example to Kenyans. I just want to state categorically,
Mhm.
corruption, it involved you and me.
Mhm. Okay, good.
When
So,
the police
Mhm.
responds,
Mhm.
then I correspond.
Yes.
But now,
Mhm.
if the system
Mhm.
of the government, or if they could have already set a proper law
Mhm.
of lowering, and also lowering the bond and also the cash bill
Mhm.
whenever a person got arrested,
Mhm.
get arrested,
Mhm.
maybe on the road, is supposed to pay the government certain amount,
Mhm.
which is indicated
Mhm.
on any receipt.
Uh-huh.
But not only giving out your money, just like this.
Without any assurance that the money
Yeah,
will go to government.
anywhere that is not written,
Okay, okay.
you are also contributing to become a corruption.
So, in other words, you are saying that maybe government should come up with a good formula on how to collect the money,
Yeah,
so that it goes directly to the treasury,
yeah.
so that each and every crime you make, it has its own amount of money which you should be charged. So if it's overspeeding, then if it's overspeeding maybe per kilometer, let's say 1,000 shillings, and you have oversped by maybe 10 kilometers, so you should be charged based on that speed limit which you have broken. So if it is maybe overloading, it has its own charges.
Yeah.
So, and each and every money should be paid directly to maybe the government account.
But should be
Mhm.
the small amount so that to discourage the corruption. Whenever you put the bill or the bond that you are going to charge that person who offended, it means that the person will going to sweet talk the police so that he can let him go, you know.
So it should be affordable.
It should be affordable. Affordable to avoid corruption.
Yeah, because corruption comes in when you can't afford. And
Yeah.
You have to look for
Yeah.
another way to.
You manipulate.
Okay, good. So, Mr. Sam,
Yes.
what do you think we could have done in this country if there were no corruption? Because we have admitted that we have lost a lot of money. What do you think this money should have been used to do or should have done in this country?
Take for example, like the recent one.
Yes.
Our government went out and borrowed a very huge loan.
Yes.
And the loan were meant for SGR, as from Mombasa to Bungoma toward Uganda.
Yes.
And it happened now. It is on Nairobi. And it is not even a standard railway gate. It is still using the fuel. We were even expecting something
Which is
to be using even electricity. We were even expecting that it happened that you board a train from Mombasa, you will use like 4 hours to Bungoma when we headed to Uganda. And now, the money which we took, it was meant for SGR.
Yeah.
Never meant to be.
Okay.
Where does the money now go?
So, in other words, you are saying that corruption makes us to come up with poor infrastructure.
Of course.
Which maybe
of course.
infrastructure which was supposed to meet a certain level, a certain standard.
Yeah.
Then due to corruption, we reduce that value of the infrastructure.
Yeah.
And then now we take this money to other people's pockets.
Yeah.
So which makes us to have very poor infrastructure. So let's say hospitals, let's say we were supposed to build maybe a level 5 hospital. Corruption will make us to reduce that level, maybe to come up to maybe level 2 or level 3.
Level 1.
Okay.
For example.
Okay, good. So, Mr. Sam, you are saying that this corruption has really affected this nation.
Yeah.
Have you ever been affected by corruption, maybe in one way or another? Maybe there was some service which you were supposed to get, but because you had no money to bribe, or because there were bribery in the place which you attended, you were not able to get that service. Have you ever been affected maybe in any manner?
Of course, the reason being, as a result,
Mm-hmm.
whenever somebody now, maybe for example, gets sick
Yes.
with cancer,
Mm-hmm.
as in bear in mind
Mm-hmm.
the cost of caring the medics of cancer, it is too expensive.
Yes.
And now
Mm-hmm.
it will make that person panic a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and the only place that you can get a good medics,
Mm-hmm.
it is only through to India.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And take for example,
Yes.
when we have a look the amount of money
Mm-hmm.
which the Kenya government lose every day, like 2 billion.
Yes.
That one, it is enough to build the best hospital in Africa
Mm-hmm.
that can give these people a good service so that they want to go to India.
Okay.
And the money will remain here.
In Kenya.
Do you mean that 2 billion, is it not possible to educate like 100,000 maybe doctors so that they can get
They can get the
the
skills.
whole techniques of handling the cancer?
It can really, because that
If,
amount.
if we are really losing
Big
2
amount,
billion daily,
Mhm.
it means per month. And that one,
60 billion.
yeah. So that one,
Mhm.
that money, it is enough to educate us, like even 100,000 techniques,
Mhm.
so that they can handle.
Okay, good, Sam. So because now this is a challenge,
Yeah.
and it needs contribution of each and every stakeholder, starting from young children. So someone once told us that corruption starts from the lower level, whereby as a parent, you can give maybe your child maybe 10 shillings to go and buy something for you, and the child maybe refuses to go and buy. Then you can add maybe 5 shillings to go and buy himself or herself something. So that one is like bribing the child so that he or she can do something. And then that one goes on like that, until a level whereby it is now very, very serious. In that when somebody gets into the government office and you want a service, then you are asked for a certain amount so that you can get that service. So do you think that if we can handle corruption from the lower level of maybe the younger age, or maybe from children, that level as somebody grows up, do you think that one can really help? If we can handle corruption from the lowest level of corruption, do you think that one can really help?
Of course it can, but the other thing which I just want to caution about it, it is that should be known that the only thing a parent
Yes.
can do, it is only to bring a child in a way that in his lifetime he can live without complicating other things, you know. During our time, we used to be sent even further than the way it is nowadays, and we were just a traitor, and we were not even giving anything. Then why do you have to bribe your kid if he refuses? You need to hit him.
You have to cane the child.
Yeah, you
spare
need
the
to
rod.
hit him.
Okay, good.
You need to hit him, you know. You should not sweet talk your child and then to an extent it will get rotten. You need to hit him a little bit I didn't even say too much.
Okay, good. So,
And also the other thing to do with corruption, the government, the parliament itself should enact a proper law that will help the government curb a corruption. You know, if somebody caught them that he has stolen a public money, that person should not even. He's supposed everything that he owns is supposed to be taken by the government and sold. You know.
So before we come to maybe the measures, we are still on matter of corruption, so that we are going to come. We will come there on matters. So now we are going to end the corruption. So meanwhile, there is this matter again, whereby we get most of our politicians. They are normally associated with corruption. You get somebody maybe like an MP. When he or she gets into the office, they are given the CDF money, let's say for instance 130 million. So this 130 million is supposed to deal with maybe the issue of infrastructure in schools, the issues of security, among other issues. So you can get maybe a leader or an MP who is in office, can give out the money, let's say 2 million for a class. And then out of 2 million, the contractor is supposed to do or to build the class is asked to give out 500 million, sorry, 500,000 to the politician, and then now the contractor remains with 1.5 million. Then now the contractor does the work. After finishing the work, in the check which is given, it is written that is 2 million, but actually the work which was done is a substandard work. So how can we handle this issue? Because actually it's a very big issue, and it should not actually be ignored. Because you get most of these politicians, they invest a lot of their money to get into the office. Now, when they are in office, it is their time to take the money back, and they have to find various ways. And most of the common way is to use corruption. So how are we going to handle this issue of corruption amongst our politicians? How should we elect the politicians? Or how should we know that this politician can really deliver the work? Yes, how can we do it so that
according to my point of view,
yes,
I think there is a proper law which governs to do with procurement.
Yes.
And as far as we are concerned, we should not condone such a crime happening. An MP, he should not be the one who is dictating who is to be given a tender and who is not to be given. I know most of the tenders, they are being given based on the relation, you know, based on the support that you gave him, based on the maybe, you know, it is based on politics.
Yes.
And now the fact is, it is our time to come out and defend our constitution strongly and says that the only people who are mandated to give tender, the only committee of either a school or a borehole, you know, of any project.
Yes.
And now, if you are caught to having or to seducing any person whom you think that he will going to give you a tender,
yes,
then also your license should be supposed to be terminated, so that we will able to wind up a corruption.
So your company can also be deregistered.
If now you claim that you have a godfather, what about the other person comes from poor background who does not have anybody and is also guaranteed to live in the right of this country and to enjoy a fundamental rights of every citizen in this Kenya.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Sam. So currently, as we talk, It's almost like every sector in this country which has been affected by the corruption. So, do you think that everybody is corrupt? It's only that we lack opportunity. Because, like everybody, when he or she gets the opportunity, he takes the advantage of the innocent and the advantage of other citizens to take the bribe and maybe to continue with the corruption. Do you think that all of us are corrupt?
Now, as to begin, I can't say all of us, but I know it might be majority. As when you compare, there are some other people who still crime of hunger. And there are some who has a blend of money, which they cannot even make to explain where they got their wealth. And as a country, we need to speak.
Yes.
We need to see. Let us stop being fly-folded. And we have some eyes. We can learn from previous. And also beside that, the kind of leaders whom we need to vote for are the people whom we can entrust with our little money that the government gave them to run on.
Okay, thank you. So you've seen a lot of scandals in this country. No one has been brought to book. Most of the big fish, the so-called big fish, none of them is in jail. And then you get somebody maybe who has stolen maybe a chicken, is in jail. Now, what do you think there is? Where do you think there is a loophole? Because you get that person who steals millions of money is not in jail, and the person who just took maybe 100 shillings or 200 shillings of somebody is in jail. Do you think there is a problem in the constitution, or there is a problem in the judiciary? Where do you think there is a problem in this country?
There is a problem on constitution and also judiciary. But what I know in Kenya, a big fish normally hit the small fish, which are the majority. And now, we as the majority, still stuck on poverty, we need to come out clearly and defend our constitution, which is guaranteed by our rights, to ensure everybody who acquire a public money should get rotten in jail.
So when you say maybe get rotten in jail, it means that our judiciary should be very strong.
Yeah.
And maybe the anti-corruption unit
Yeah.
should come clearly and defend the nation.